ushered out of the lane. ONER makes his way over. BUSIO down to 200. Make that 150. The flash forward piece has been made as first blood is picked up.
Here comes YIKE though.
All right, let's see whether they can clean this one up. PEYZ down to 100. KALISTE now in trouble though. Headshot comes through and YIKE just puts him down. ONER is able to trade. But that makes it a 2 for 2 in the end.
It did become a 2 for 2, but KALISTE just went way too fast. Buy time for YIKE to come down. It felt like he got over aggressive there.
He is going to get stunned, but now BUSIO is in trouble. Still doesn't have the flash, remember. Peace once again. And that is another kill onto this Camille. Magical Journey is going to bring them over towards YIKE, who tries to get into stealth to try and get out. Nice double stun. But guess what it means? Absolutely nothing as Peacemaker comes through yet again. YIKE is still trying to skip around this jungle. Just terror shaping and things like that, but KERIA has the meep slap and down goes the KIAHOO. That's 1-0-3, 100% kill contribution for the Bard out of KERIA.
And it's a moment like that where I want to hear comms, because I want to hear who from T1 was calling for ONER to pull off there. You know, was it him that had the read that YIKE was coming? You know, who actually set up this play? Because, you know, here's the previous play that we were talking about. So I want to watch it back and actually watch KALISTE, because to me, you see these low health bars. He is doing fine here. Wait, his teammate down in the bot lane can't be as good at his champion. 12-1?
Yeah, and PEYZ hasn't been on T1 the whole time. He was just on Gen G before. It's all right. CANNA is now having to blow the ultimate. It's going to be able to keep him alive, though, as there is the kill onto KERIA in the bottom lane. PEYZ able to get the net to safety as he finds a headshot onto KALISTE as well, but it is a good dive onto the Bard. In the meantime, there is still more happening here in this top lane as ONER does make his way out, and now CANNA going to take that as an invitation just to kill DORAN if he can. Good body slam does come on through as PEYZ is taken down, and KC finding some opportunities here on the map.
That is massive for KC, being able to take out both of the T1 bot laners, and just like that.
Still with the ultimate, does have that available, but
look
too
at
much
items
behind it. Yeah, there's just some Swifties and a rock.
Exactly. You bought Swifties, and you bought some mana, so not going to be able to do much there. As DORAN trying to keep him off of this tower, but CANNA knows he has no explosive cask, so there's not really that risk of the wave just getting one shot and you picking up turret aggro.
Yeah, BUSIO making his way in though. Hookshot is going to get the stun as DORAN gets a bit of his health bar back, but BUSIO going to be able to withstand that one shot. The flash on in as ONER finds the Q for the kill. Flash away from BUSIO. No Warrior Trickster available for ONER to get over that wall, and so it is just the 1-for-1.
This is great though. You know, BUSIO got 3 kills now. He's accelerated a bit. When you can get to that first item on the Camille, it is really, really relevant because you are just fighting non-stop here, looking to, you know, force the issue. And CANNA, this time, is in a way better position. YIKE is in a way better position, which I think is...
It's Faker, as he is getting into a very aggressive position. Scatter the Weak comes down just to make sure that that sphere does connect. And he just moves himself out of the way. So that is the first rate going on over. CANNA now just blowing the ultimate, but the Magical Journey comes through Cask. He's going to pull the Crocodile away from the turret, and that should be the kill. ONER picks up that one as well, moving to 3-1. And T1 finding the cross map.
Yeah, nice try there from CANNA. Almost took ONER down. One more tower shot probably would have done it, but didn't quite have the ability to do it. Faker in maybe a little trouble as they have TP'd, and YIKE's coming behind Faker as well.
Yeah, that is a lot of true shot barrage damage to try and take down the Wukong, as Faker able to get away from this supreme display of talent, but that will not save his turret, or at least maybe it will. Second plate not going to be claimed. Faker, when you know that the Camille support is working out. But speaking of support, yes, we want to make sure that we get the Blue Wall versus T1 fandom. And honestly, T1 fans, I'm pretty disappointed from your prediction. Like earlier on today,
they lost the prediction.
They lost the prediction battle. We don't see that from T1.
So spam T1 or KC in chat. Let us know who you think has the better fandom. But BUSIO, super strong, just goes straight in here. KERIA tries to come through and prevent as much damage as he possibly can. Throws the Bard ult not onto BUSIO but onto KALISTE because he wanted the tower to stay onto BUSIO there. But they're going to look for YIKE.
Yeah, YIKE does throw down the ulti though defensively. ONER should have another Cyclone in order to take him down, and actually gets over the wall. But CANNA and YEON turn up as well, and that is going to be the answering kill onto the jungle. And now Faker dealing with BUSIO here, and does have to get himself out of the way. KERIA taking a little while to die, but he will indeed do that. You've got PEYZ going for a cross map towards the bottom side, but T1 are just falling further and further behind.
Yeah, I mean, this area there, they're TPing in deep. CANNA's looking for a fast start to this fight.
Yeah, in goes BUSIO, is going to lock down Faker. He's going to die for it, but look at that stun from YIKE. Absolutely massive, and CANNA gets into that backline. PEYZ going to have to try and net himself out of there, but netting a Crocodile, that is a difficult option as he flashes to catch the blast cone, and now PEYZ I don't know how you're supposed to get out of this one with a full health Croc, but he's going to try his very best to do as much damage before he goes down. CANNA taking that turret shot, and he will fall. But it is 2 kills going over to YEON. This Cassiopeia is massive.
I just love how quickly they forced that. They never allowed T1 to actually set up. CANNA just TP'd in immediately, and they full sent it before the Dragon even spawned here. They get straight in there. There's no way ONER is going to be able to steal this. Not with BUSIO hunting for you. I don't think you can get there in time. So that is sole point for KC. You could
looking for things. He's going to find Faker. Scatter the weak is not going to work because he's not very weak. And there is the last Twin Fang to take him down. The unleashed power is pitiful at best. And this Snake Lady is very, very strong.
Yeah, that is a solo kill there for YEON. The Roa ticks over. He now goes up to level 15. And this has been a problem for Faker in the LCK. He has been getting a lot of solo kills, but he is second in the entire league in solo in isolated deaths.
Yeah.
And you can see here on the Coinbase gold grind, a very significant damage, rather gold gap being opened up here by YEON, who is now up 1K. Everyone on KC is ahead, but it is YEON and BUSIO with the biggest gold leads.
And I think we're going to be looking at DORAN in team fights and PEYZ to get another item together in order to save this one for T1 if they are going to make it work. But KC have just been so good at pulling the trigger. There's Tempered Fate looking to lock down BUSIO here as DORAN making his way in. He is unseen as he looks for the angle. Body Slam doesn't work, but there is the cast. Supreme Display and Talent onto only the tank, and they take out CALISTE before anything had even happened. And it's just free hitting for PEYZ. CANNA with a massive ultimate, but it doesn't do anything. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. T1 just win a team fight, take a Baron, and they're back in control. How annoying is it, Azael?
How do they keep doing it every damn time? T1 find a way to make the magic happen, losing all game long. We're talking about the soul, but they find the fight beside the Baron. 23-minute Baron here. It's all started up by KERIA, lands the ult onto BUSIO, DORAN TP's in, and ONER flashes in. The cask is there, knocking back KALISTE, whose flash came out a split second too late to avoid that cask, and then Faker and PEYZ are untouched. YEON arrives with a TP, but his whole team is already dead, and the Baron is theirs for the taking.
Oh,
it's
my
so reminiscent
goodness.
of the series against TL yesterday. You know, T1 just grabbed these Barons, it feels like, out of nowhere, and now it is only an 800 gold lead here. It is sole point available. You talked about the third item. PEYZ has the rapid fire. ONER is on 3 items, has reclaimed that gold lead. And now KC are really going to have to be on point if they want to win these next fights because they've lost the gold lead. It is so hard to play a 5v5 with Camille and Kiana. You got to be perfect.
Well, they're going to look for it here as BUSIO gets over the wall with a hook shot. The dash cannon to try and get him out of there, but that Hextech ultimatum not really working as CANNA gets into the backline, looking for Faker. The unleashed power, though, and he's taking so much damage. PEYZ, untouched, finds the auto attack as he gets over the wall, and it's a double here. ONER with the Nimbus strike, looking for KALISTE, and that ace and hold doesn't work because his target has already been taken down. And I just feel like T1 have made it out of the trough, and now they're just skipping to the finish line. As Faker eating some honey fruit, PEYZ looking a little bit worse for wear. But yeah, who cannot step up. YIKE, similar story as T1 look to deny the soul and get themselves back into this driving seat. 3,000 gold on the Red Bull Baron power play, and YIKE, ace in the hole, finally comes back up again. And BUSIO is going to get on forward. That is going to be a gromp to go over to YIKE, but I just don't think they're going to be able to do enough here. There's the Dragon secured, and T1 going to spend all of that hard-earned gold.
Yeah, T1 win another fight. BUSIO again, you know, he knows it's going to be hard to take the fight, so he just full sends it instantly, and CANNA did get in on top of both Faker and PEYZ, and I thought there was an angle for them to win the fight here. So watch it one more time. It looks like, hey, did BUSIO go too early? But then you see everyone coming over. He is flashed in. CANNA is moving down. YEON is moving down, throws down the Hextech ultimatum, and look at CANNA, who goes in over the wall. This multi-man stun from that beautiful ult that came out of YIKE. CANNA's on top of the carries. Just doesn't quite have the damage to finish off PEYZ and Faker.
And you know what it was? It was the locket from KERIA. Gets on in there, gets the big old shield to come on over.
Here's TP.
And now another flank angle. Supreme Display of Talent. They're looking for Faker. They should be able to lock him down. Takes a little bit longer to get him. And now ONER is in no man's land. That, oh my God, takes down YIKE. It was a suicide, but he manages to take his opposite number with him. And now DORAN, he just wants to teleport out, and he will be able to do so. A little bit of a catastrophe.
Defensive with the 4th item here makes a lot of sense when you're playing against KEAHOO as well as Camille.
Yeah,
and,
not a lot of true tanks on this team as well, so the Lord Doms can come a little bit later.
The unfortunate thing, though, is there's nothing for KC to take after it.
Yeah. So not really getting too much as far as a trade is concerned. PEYZ with a lot of money in this game, despite just being taken down, but he does have the last Whisper. So just went for as much flat AD as possible before the last fight, I guess, as BUSIO now in a little bit of trouble. Scatter the Weak is not going to connect, but the Cyclone a little bit more difficult to avoid as he does try to use the Hextech Ultimatum to deny the gameplay button, but it does not actually do enough. As now T1 with a kill 15 seconds before the Baron. That is looking like a potential avenue here, and if they take the Baron before the Dragon is available, then that trade...
He's getting chunked out. KANNA's already chunked out. This is going to be really hard. It's kind of up to YIKE and YEON here on the side. Can they find an angle?
ONER Smite Button has been pretty good so far this tournament, and he also has DORAN available. Supreme display of talent, not quite doing enough. DORAN's so tanky. YIKE can get in here, but it's not going to be enough. And they take the Baron in trade for their top laner.
But the problem is, now you have to fight Soul, and you just lost DORAN for that. I don't think it was worth
goes in, and he finds such a beautiful angle. Slicing and dicing does go down, but he's weak on to YEON either, as BUSIO is still trying to chase him down. Faker buying as much time as possible, but those Twin Fangs are unavoidable. And T1, they are just trying to deny the backs so that PEYZ can take an inhibitor turret. And perhaps that is going to work, as YEON is teleported over, looking for a bit of an angle towards these two here that are just trying to buy space, trying to buy time. They've got a Blast Cone to get themselves out. And Supreme Display of Talent will get the kill onto KERIA, and CANNA did make it back to deny the Caitlyn. There's a cask to get some space for ONER as well, but I think the Red Bull Baron power play has a slight gold advantage for T1. You can see it popped up on your screen just there.
BUSIO is very deep. He was in the jungle behind DORAN. We're going to see if they're going to look for PEYZ. I think he's going to try to come in behind PEYZ and try to look for a pick, but DORAN, I think, is maybe hunting?
No, he's looking for the bottom lane. So sees the red dots and does not see the Camille, as PEYZ going to get engaged on there. As let's see whether KERIA can find the ulti. Does manage to get PEYZ golden, but it's going to take some time. Does find the angle there as well. Supreme Display of Talent is fantastic, but double GAs are going to be popped here for T1. Magical Journey comes over, trying to buy this space as CANNA is taken out. CALISTE gets scattered here by Fakers. It's a double for DORAN, who doesn't seem able to lose health. Oh, CALISTE taking matters into his own hands. Not able to quite land that Mystic Shot, though, and now it's ONER making his way in. YEON has to flash away, and PEYZ flashes in to secure the win for T1. Oh, this team just makes too much magic.
BUSIO is great, but KERIA is the greatest of all time. It shows you why. The defensive Bartle, the portal to get PEYZ out after the GA, the locket to buy the time. Everything was perfectly played from KERIA to get PEYZ out of there and get T1 their second win.
And match point in this series as well. The unleashed power to come through. I think BUSIO deserves that, as he has been absolutely amazing in this game. Unfortunately, it was not enough, as YIKE, he's going to get scattered. He's going to get taken out, and it's going to be the Nexus turrets falling. But this game, nothing like what we saw in Game 1, as KC, they really made him work for it. But T1 still moved to match point.
Man, I could not get over it. I want to watch that KERIA fight back again. I'm sure the desk is going to show it to us, because that was absolutely insane. Endless Desk, what do you think about that?
Oh my goodness! Absolute cinema. They can't keep getting away with this.
Yo, it is deja vu in day 2, another Game 2 against a Western team where they pull it out of the hat. It's the T1 Magic, Kobe.
Oh man, are they just giving us hope, Degon, for their entertainers? Little stompy game number 1 and then real action.
Oh, I have no clue. But what we do know is that throughout the history of LoL esports, there have been certain metas where certain players are associated with certain champions. Frog and Zanivia comes to mind. Yep. Canyon Nidalee comes to mind. Uzi, Lucian comes to mind. And as we saw in that final fight, it's KERIA on Bard yet again getting it done.
So this year, there's only been 3 games where teams have allowed the Bard to go through draft. Do you know how many of those he lost? 0. So, in fairness, I will say to KC, they had a pretty good plan in this game.
They did,
and
yeah.
we saw a lot of success in the mid-game, but KERIA's Bard still so fearsome, so hard to deal with. For the roaming potential, but also those team fights, he's just putting on a masterclass.
We will get to that team fight because that team fight was insane, but it was the journey because in the early portions of the game, that Camille was getting a little beat up. The early game, don't want to think about it. But at the 6-minute mark, when we saw ONER go up topside, and I thought CANNA really ate that gank and it was working out well. Meanwhile, they looked for a dive bot lane, and I thought that's when KC started to really find their groove. And it was there where BUSIO ended up getting the dive. They base, he goes directly top lane, he gets the dive towards the top side. BUSIO was really on a groove there.
And look, ignore the 8 deaths. That's just how you gotta play
Closing my
Camille.
eyes.
You gotta play aggressive, you gotta find the proactive plays, and even later in the team fights, he was diving in, but doing his job.
Yeah, especially a lot of these ones here. You know, Faker in the river as well. He's trying to take advantage of YIKE who's on the ward, but BUSIO sneaks over the back of the pit. They find the one there. He's making a lot of these mid-game plays for KC that got them into such a good position in the game.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, this is for you. Shooter's gonna shoot.
They gotta
BUSIO
shoot.
just kept shooting.
You better believe
He
it.
missed the first 2 and then went on a hot streak and then started to cool off a little bit. But let's take a look at some of those fights where KC were performing better.
Yeah, so this one was a super decisive engage, and we actually saw it was T1 who has set up, trying to make a trap here. They were in the river, in this brush, we'll see it in a second, and basically they had a control ward in the wrong position. So they thought they were off vision, they were actually on vision, and I just love that KC was so decisive in this fight in just looking to punish this, because it was clear T1 were looking for something themselves,
Yeah.
and just ended up overextended.
Yeah, let's
And we'll
take a
see
look
that
at it
coming
one
out
more
here.
time.
So T1 stacked up here. The control ward they have is too shallow. It doesn't see the ward that they're
Wow.
on. And then KC go, hey, let's just flank behind them with a TP. T1 realized now with a sweeper, it's too late. Renekton is behind them. BUSIO's going in. He dies immediately, but his job is done.
And oh my goodness, YIKE with the big engage here with the follow-up from the ulti. All 3 of them just get locked up. Huge combo. Yeah, YIKE was insane, but also just like a terror in the backline. CANNA had an incredible laning phase. It was accentuated by the dive that BUSIO came up with. And in all of these team fights, you could see the KC fans on fire. They truly believed, I believe.
Yeah, that was an exciting one.
Oh, man.
Well, what happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
You can never let up for a second versus T1. I mean, until you actually get up there to the Nexus, man. Yeah, they're never going down.
Raz, you gotta talk about it.
This was the critical comeback play, though. This was critical because up until this point, KC, they had done so much work to make you believe. But look, YIKE, you get comboed here as well, but really Caliste never got to move. He got one Mystic shot off there. It was a bounce house from DORAN's teleport, flanked from the Gragas from one side into ONER's Wukong.
That Wukong ulti, that alley-oop into Wukong ulti,
And you know,
immediately deleting him.
Doran's laning hasn't been that strong in this tournament, but we always know him for his team fight impact and just sliding in there, catching the enemy AD carry. That's what we know him for best.
Yeah. Again, just one of those things that doesn't show up on the scoreboard. Doran, the unsung hero of this squad, given all of them are superstars. Then, speaking of superstar moments, this final fight here, yet again, it is the stamp and reason why people come to the T1 circus. Despite getting caught out and a fantastic flank by BUSIO, they outplay it.
The timing on the ult, just as we see YIKE commit onto the Caitlyn, stalls them out, the GA then come in, and it buys some time to get away with this portal, and then when the GA comes in from CANNA, it's into a Caitlyn, so he gets trapped. This peel from KERIA was flawless, and PEYZ and ONER able to re-navigate the fight. It was so good.
Yeah, the Syndra combo from Faker immediately even afterwards. So close to being able to get the kill there. But man, the fact that that Baron fight much earlier on felt like it was going to solidify it for T1, but then you saw KC clawing back the game, pick after pick. But that one just put the hammer down. T1 is now at match point.
So critical, and so many times, like, the GA revival, like, the duration of it, oftentimes people are like, oh, well, is it really that great for AD carries? Because they'll just die when they get back up. No, they won't if they have KERIA there to get to an exit path. They got the traps down just in time before as well, and then they have this Aces, then they have the exit path, then they have the heal back up. It was crazy, and the ult from the Kiana during the duration of those as well, oh my goodness.
And I feel like this is one of those fights where you look at everyone doing their part, and if anyone messes up or plays a little bit worse, the fight does not work. But T1 all came together in that clutch moment, and for KC, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is, but they're not done yet. They got to pull themselves up off the floor. It is 2-0 T1 over KC. We'll be back with game number 3.
He is unseen as he looks for the angle. Body slam doesn't work, but there is the cast. Supreme displaying talent onto only the tank, and they take out CALISTE before anything had even happened. And it's just free hitting for PEYZ. CANNA with a massive ultimate, but it doesn't do anything. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. T1 just win a team fight, take a Baron, and they're back in control. How annoying is it? Oh, this team just makes too much magic.
Tired of the off-season blues once Worlds is over? Fear not, because League of Legends is coming to the very first Esports Nations Cup, where players split from their clubs and compete for national pride. Will China test every limit imaginable? Will South Korea turn every game into a macro masterclass? Will EU and NA actually play in the correct lanes? The final event of the year is not to be missed. Esports Nations Cup 2026. See you in Riyadh.